On November 22, 2021, Chabert's world collapsed when her older sister Wendy suddenly died from a heart attack, leaving behind 2 sons. The actor took to Instagram to announce her sister's passing and her own dismay, writing, "Our hearts are shattered into a million pieces that I don't know how we will ever put back together again now that you're gone." As she processed the devastating loss, Chabert continued to keep her followers and fans updated on her grief journey. 2 months in, she shared that she was still working towards accepting the massive loss in her life, writing, "I still reach for my phone 10 times a day to text or call her before I remember I can't." Grief manifests in many different forms, both mentally and physically, and Chabert shared that she was suffering from both, even to the point of experiencing shortness of breath at times. To her credit, Chabert has used this opportunity to speak about the painful process, allowing her fans to stay updated on her progress and providing some advice for those in similar situations. When speaking with Lawrence Zarian on the podcast You Are Beautiful, Chabert described the drastically different forms of grief she had observed her family go through, saying, "You grieve on so many different levels, and that's something I never expected or understood."
Every day I learn something new, and sometimes it's a bit easier, sometimes it's a bit more challenging, and it sneaks up on you sometimes, but it's okay to cry.
Chabert shared that she experienced an increase in her general anxiety, but it was a challenge that she willed herself to overcome, and she found that she was able to grow as a person because of it. She even left listeners with words of encouragement about the dreaded process of moving on after a loved one has passed, saying, "I have realized that there is beauty in everything. Even in tragedy, there is beauty. As with every life, there's a series of ups and downs, good times and bad." While mourning the death of her sister was definitely one of the latter times, Chabert also got to experience the highest of highs when she gave birth to her daughter Julia in September 2016. While welcoming her bundle of joy into the world has allowed Chabert to gush about her child as any parent should, it also came with the all-too-familiar challenge of leaving her daughter behind to go back to work. To pile on the difficulty, with Chabert's work taking her away from home for long stretches of time, it means she occasionally has to miss childhood milestones, like her daughter's first day of school in 2022. But as hard as it can be, Chabert has also embraced the opportunity as a chance to set an example for her daughter that one doesn't have to choose between a career and motherhood. She told People magazine, "I'm very thankful that I'm also able to continue working. I hope to set that example for her to let her know that you can do it all, but with a lot of help and support."
And then last week she said, "It's not fair, you only get to be in movies, I want to be too." And I was like, oh no.
Unfortunately for Chabert, the loss of her sister wasn't her first brush with losing a beloved family member. After her grandmother passed away in 2019, Chabert spoke about how close the two were in an interview with Southern Living. The Hallmark star had the good fortune of growing up with her grandmother living next door. The two would bake together in her kitchen. Chabert told the outlet, "She was one of my very best friends and my biggest cheerleader, so her passing was heartbreaking, but I love that I have those memories with her of cooking in her kitchen." After her grandmother's passing, Chabert took to Facebook to express a heartfelt realization she experienced after the loss. "I think the impact you had on my life, my values, runs deeper than I ever realized." On top of her family struggles, Chabert also dealt with her own mental health concerns during one of the most tumultuous periods in recent history. To put it mildly, the COVID-19 lockdown was not a fun time for anyone. The fear, stress, and uncertainty of everything from job security to the health of one's family ran rampant during this time, and despite her celebrity status, Chabert's situation was no exception. In an essay she wrote for Guideposts magazine, she described her trouble with trying to shield her daughter from her own anxieties. Chabert's essay reflected feelings that should be familiar to anyone else who experienced the pandemic, from worrying about her parents' health to going stir-crazy while sheltering in place. But she said her faith in God kept her stable and hopeful. She even stumbled across her first Bible while organizing her house one day, which she read to keep grounded and hold on to the memory of a time when she wasn't grappling with immense anxiety. If you or someone you know needs help with mental health, please contact the Crisis Text Line by texting HOME to 741-741. Call the National Alliance on Mental Illness helpline at 1-800-950-NALMI 6264 or visit the National Institute of Mental Health website.